Now, I kind of group people into like a driver versus accelerator. I don't know if you've seen any of my stuff on that, but I would always encourage guys a little bit more forward move in their initial move of the delivery. I think it's one of the biggest missing pieces in terms of pitching development because of this whole term that we thought of, balance point, which doesn't make any sense. We want to utilize gravity, especially on a slope, man. We want to get going towards our desired target. So just to give you an example, I'm going to be using Chapman a lot because, I mean, some of the things that we're going to be talking about are just night and day with him. But notice Chapman, who's more of like a hybrid type, but as soon as he disconnects that front foot from the ground, yes, he's going to be getting into a massive load, but notice how his body is moving towards his desired target the whole entire time, right? Yes, that's his coil, that's his hip load, absolutely. But he's telling his brain by just the way his body's moving that, hey, we're going to be getting going that way, right? So now the tempo is increased, the acceleration rate is increased, and once those two things are increased, the hand has to go faster and the hips have to rotate faster. And it also is going to give you a better opportunity segueing into, I believe, the biggest breakdown is your pelvis rotation is early, right? You watch a lot of high power output dudes, and the timing of their pelvis into rotation is delay, last second, wham, and it goes. So if we just look at the way that, and again, the other video is going to be a little bit better, but if we just look at the way that your front foot works, you're into full front foot rotation right now, and you haven't, you're 2 frames, 3 frames away from full front foot contact. So this is what I would call rotation then front foot strike rather than rotation into front foot strike. So that tells me that essentially your rear hip is rotating prematurely. I think this is a thing that could get misinterpreted with your early trunk rotation, right? So this is going to be a better view for you to see this. But yes, early heel disconnection, but notice it's going to be tough with this lead foot. Notice when that rear hip starts to go. In this frame, it starts to go. Okay, so we're 4 or 5 frames away from full front foot contact, which I would call anchor point, and the rear hip is going. So the pelvis is rotating, in my opinion, extremely premature. Now, there's a fine line between when we want hip rotation and when we essentially want to delay the pelvis from going, because the way that I look at it is if the pelvis is going early, right, then we are releasing some of that rotational energy before we get to our anchor point. Again, look at Chapman here and the timing in which his pelvis rotates, right? It's leg lift, hip load, and then rides that load. And then notice, look at this. I mean, again, I know it's unfair to compare Chapman, like it's super unfair, but he has not left his hip load posture until right there he starts to unload. Now he's 2 frames away from full anchor point and his pelvis has barely shifted. Now, boom, boom, barely shifted. Now it launches, right? And I mean, just play this in fast motion. Boom. So that timing of wham, wham is all the difference in the world, man. I mean, you know how it is, like when we talk about velocity, and those little things that go into it that make the world a difference. I just look at it like you're creating so much like rotational torque power in your storage, right, in that load, and then it's last second, boom. If you delay up to that last second of that pelvis rotation, then how much more acceleration is that going to have? It's like delaying your hand for as long as you can until it's time to throw, and your hand automatically increases its tempo, automatically increases its power output, right? It's just tricking your body into producing more acceleration. Now, here's where I think we could go with it.